EP40. Vancouver's $11.6 million man. A guy who has garnered love, criticism, and all the spectrum of emotions from Canucks fans in this media, and a whole bunch of conversation about his future. You see, Elias Pettersson may no longer be a player who is probably playing like an $11.6 million superstar. And the unfortunate part about that is, he probably has never actually played up to that level whilst the contract was in motion. His 102-point season in 2022-2023, where he was alongside of Andrei Kuzmenko, he had 102 points and 39 goals, and he was the MVP of the Canucks. That was a season to remember for Elias Pettersson, and it probably was the only time in his career where he actually was playing like an $11.6 million guy. As the years went on, Pettersson started to decline. He had an 89-point season the next year, which is considerably good compared to most NHL players. It was a decline, but it was still reasonable. But the problem was the second half of this year was not good for EP40 standards. He was starting to get that tendonitis. He was no longer producing at the same rate that he was at the start of that season. And then he and JT Miller fell apart. Pettersson's contract kicked in the next year, and he ended up scoring 45 points in 64 games. And now this season, the guy has 26 points in 36 total games. He is on pace for a 54-point campaign over 74 games, and if you do the math on that, that is an 82-game projection of about 59 points, which, let's face it, that's just not good enough. Which is why we head over onto the province and read this piece published by Patrick Johnston yesterday as to who is really on the Canucks trade block. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go out there and read this article, but this piece dives into PJ's ponderings. If you are rebuilding, you can't be shy about who you're moving on from. Let's dive into this long list. PJ writes about how it was funny to hear Jake DeBrusk's name come up with the trade rumor hot stove this week, since he had a chat with DeBrusk last week about how much losing pains him, and how much he wants to be a part of the solution. "So you don't want to go?" I asked him. "Oh no, I'm here to stay. To fix this," DeBrusk said. Now, this video ain't about Jake DeBrusk. Let's scroll down past Kiefer Sherwood, let's scroll down past Evander Kane and Tyler Myers, as well as Teddy Bluger and David Kampf. I honestly don't think that Tyler Myers would waive. He seems to like it in Vancouver too much. Just quick aside here, that guy's probably here to stay. Just saying. Now, if we scroll down to Elias Pettersson, this is what Patrick Johnston writes. Could the Canucks' #1 center be on the move? It's not impossible. As I said a week or so ago, there have been calls about him. Other teams are still intrigued by him, given his strong two-way play. He's not scoring as much as you'd like, but he is an outstanding defensive player. Carolina has been interested in the past. They are, again, reportedly trying to find a new home for Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Such a trade would be a real shift in vision for the Canucks, but maybe the move here is to just move on from all the players who were a part of the old group. The old group that did blow up. Let's not forget that. A team that needs a top-notch center, one who is close to elite but not a true out-and-out #1 guy, say like Chicago or San Jose, who have young superstars as their top-line centers, would be a good fit. The Canucks, of course, once had that. They had JT Miller and Bo Horvat, along with Pettersson. It's hard not to think of how this all could have gone differently if ego and pride and a better vision from the top had been there. But that's all gone now. The future, with Pettersson or not, is going to be difficult for a while here. If the Canucks are aggressive, it doesn't have to be difficult for that long. But does this ownership, this management, have the guts to go through with a properly aggressive rebuild? We will see. Now, just in case you missed it, we did make a video on the YouTube channel yesterday talking about the potential of a rebuild and just what Rutherford's plans seem to be, the kinds of players that Vancouver is thinking about moving. Do they tear it down to the studs, or do they just kind of lackadaisically go day by day? Who really knows? Is it the old Jim Benning approach, or do they have a brand new vision? I do find it interesting how PJ links Chicago or San Jose to Vancouver for Elias Pettersson, and I know the immediate instinctual response from fans of the Canucks will be, hey, let's trade Pettersson for Connor Bedard, or let's trade Pettersson for Macklin Celebrini, but of course you are not going to get that done unless you add. I'ma be real, if the Vancouver Canucks can trade away Elias Pettersson and let's say 2 B-plus prospects, I honestly think about it if it gets you a Connor Bedard. Obviously, if it's Pettersson for Bedard 1-for-1, I take that as a Canucks fan, but obviously the Blackhawks would not. If a team like Chicago or San Jose thinks that Pettersson can still become that $11.6 million worth superstar, then you can send him over to a really positive situation that wants to see him bounce back and that can give him a fresh start. Not that Canucks fans generally want Petey to stay bad, but there's such a negative aura around this guy and what he has been for the Canucks the past few years that it's very difficult to find Canucks fans that are consistently on his side night in and night out. Maybe a change in scenery and a much lower pressure environment like San Jose can help Petey find that game once more. And thinking about the idea of a Celebrini or a Bedard coming over, that is absolutely outstanding. It doesn't even need to be those two guys. I think a team like San Jose has so many nice young pieces that you can start to salivate at. I think about Will Smith and Igor Chernyshov. He is absolutely amazing. I didn't think anybody could explode right out the gate like Igor Chernyshov has in the San Jose Sharks organization. Just taking a look at it over here, Celebrini has 70 points this year. That's ridiculous. He's got 2 times the amount of points as Tyler Toffoli. What a beast. William Eklund is really good. Colin Graf had a nice little start there. Igor Chernyshov with his 9 points in 12 games is a total stud. But I guess if Vancouver is trading away Pettersson, they would need to get a center in return, right? We can deal with Macklin Celebrini. He'd be a fine pickup, right? So with that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this idea that PJ writes about? Whether or not a Blackhawks or a Sharks team could be interested in Elias Pettersson. Is this a name that actually makes sense? The Vancouver Canucks are going to go out there and play the Montreal Canadiens later today, and that means that I am absolutely hoping for my Habs to put the brakes on Vancouver and just absolutely beat them to the ground. The Canucks are last place in the NHL still at the time of recording this audio. Thank you to Winnipeg for winning against the New Jersey Devils earlier yesterday. It's very appreciated. So, Canucks fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. How do you feel about PD over to the Hawks or the Sharks? I hope you enjoyed this Swedish Astros 99. And bye.